review on the movie Broken Hope. The title of this movie reflects on the overall performances of this movie. And how do I mean? We'll get to that. This movie was directed by Jblaze, showing on Ibaka's TV on YouTube, and cast the actors Bimbo, Ademoye, Deyemi the actor, Zach Orji, Jblaze, amongst others. This movie tells the story of Mr. Coker, a powerful and influential man whose life ends tragically at the hands of his reckless and entitled son David. As the narrative unfolds, we learn that David's action led to the execution of an employee's family, except for the daughter, who is hell-bent on seeking revenge. The movie is centered on the themes revenge, betrayal, and tragic events. So the performances and characters. Deyemi the actor put a very good performance in this movie. He came out as someone who is reckless, who is entitled, who is mean, and he had that demeanor of his character, and it was good. He actually pulled a very amazing one for me in this movie. Bimbo Ademoye, on the other hand, did well herself, but I felt like she was struggling with the emotional aspect of this movie. I do not think Bimbo Ademoye actually brought in her A game into this movie. That's what I feel about it. Zach Orji, on the other hand, was good. Though he didn't really appear much in this movie, but for the little while we saw him, he was amazing in his character. He literally did well in this movie. Other supporting actors also did well. So overall, the performance was good, yeah. What I liked about this movie, / the highlights for me. One thing that stood out in this movie for me was the revelation of the twin. Who would have thought that the person who we saw as the villain was actually not the villain? That really caught me off guard. I was shocked at the revelation. It wasn't expected. So that was a good one there. Yeah, it was. Another thing I liked about this movie was the acting. Yeah, I feel like from Deyemi's point, I loved his acting. I love Zach Orji's acting. I literally love basically almost all the actors in this movie. I love their acting. Okay, it felt real. Except for some little things I noticed that didn't really sit well for me. But I would not still say I did not like the acting. I actually loved the acting. Now let's talk about the drawbacks for me in this movie. One was complication of the movie. This movie was complicated due to the poor employment of flashback. When you watch this movie, you'll be lost. There was no transition to differentiate a flashback from the main movie. If you're not paying detailed attention to this movie and you're not calculative, you would be confused. You would be lost. The movie failed to ensure there was a transition to differentiate a past event from the present event. It was just packed together, and it made the movie so complicated. Really complicated. And at a point, I began to ask myself, what was actually happening? What was actually going on? I was calculative. That was how I realized that, oh, this is the flashback and this is the present event. Okay, so that was that. Another thing about this movie that I did not like was the directing. Okay, the directing of Broken Hope is the weak point here. The film lacked coherence with inconsistent pacing and poorly handled transition, as I mentioned earlier. The movie also failed in ensuring that we connect with the characters on an emotional level. I felt like the whole directing in this movie wasn't just it for me at all. Okay. Another thing that didn't work for me, or I didn't like about the movie, was the point where Bimbo saw her killer, her family's killer, and her whole reaction wasn't just it. This is the point where I want to see the tension. I want to see the fear. I want to see the gravity of pain that you are feeling right now, seeing the killer of your family, especially knowing that he is your boss. But I didn't see that. It felt more or less like she had a settled mind instead of a disturbed mind. I didn't see that there. And this is Bimbo is someone that knows how to, give this great expression for things. I don't know why I found it lacking in her character this time around. Another thing about this movie that I didn't like was the point where the film actually ignored important things in the movie. Things that should have been shown wasn't shown. How would you explain to me that the CEO of an establishment was poisoned in his own office and nothing was said about it? No investigation, no camera to track the person. The man was just buried, and that was it. How do you explain that? And the next thing we saw was the twin brother coming in to take over, and then no, that path wasn't well established. All right, I felt like we should have seen more from that aspect. Okay, the investigation, the whole tracking thing, we didn't see that. Well, in my own judgment, I feel like this movie was rushed. Attention wasn't paid to this movie, no detailed attention at all. I feel like they wanted to just shoot a movie and just upload a movie. Okay, because if you really want to give us a good movie, there won't be problem in doing a balanced transitioning for you to direct our minds to flashbacks and also to main event. I'm gonna rate this movie a 2 over 10. So guys, thank you so very much for watching. If you haven't seen Broken Hope, you can go check the movie out. It's running as Ibaka TV on YouTube. And if you have seen this movie, let me know what you think about this movie in the comment section. Thank you so very much guys for watching. Please do also like, share and subscribe to the channel at Substance TV. See you guys in my next video. Until then, stay splendid.